Warning, this video contains adult content not suitable for children.
Hey, what's up? It's the Kokomo Press Podcast. I'm Jordan Granger, and as always, I've got my buddy.
I'm Jordan Bell.
Woo!
Today we have probably the most special podcast because my homie, I swear to God, my brother from another mother, I'm so happy we met, or me and this guy have met and meshed and bonded. This is Alacon Howse, the director, Hollywood Howse.
That's so sweet.
Appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Of course.
It's been a while because I've been meaning to get on this show. I know we tried to get something popping back in December, but everything got real busy, and now I'm here, and I'm happy because you guys put on a really great show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, coming from you, the openings of your show are the coolest shit I've ever heard.
Yes.
Like, when you start with the hip hop and you kind of do the in and out of a rap, I'm like, this guy's killing it.
I appreciate it.
I've never heard anything like that. Obviously Jordan got me to listen to it.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it, and I'm like, man, this is unique compared to like what I've heard most podcasts sound. And then I'm like, you guys do a lot of wrestling stuff, and I'm into wrestling back in the day more.
For sure.
And then I've gotten into it more because my buddy is like really into it, and then my buddy Maddie and Brian, like everybody I'm surrounded by loves it, so I get into it a little bit more because of that. But watching yours, I was like, man, this guy's got something special going on.
I appreciate that.
I've known this for a while, ever since I started following this guy and like seeing the things that he's doing. I was like, this dude has something good special, and things are gonna pop off. And I personally know things are gonna pop off because we got some things that maybe pop up.
We got some stuff that we got going on.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm super excited because you adopted me into the household productions family.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. I'm learning under the director, being his personal assistant curator.
My man. My man.
I like it.
And it's crazy because I saw what you was doing over at AACW, you know what I mean? Right here in Kokomo. And I just knew, like, when I saw you, I was like, because I feel like I got an eye for talent. You know what I mean? Like, if anything else, I think I could, because I've been watching wrestling long enough, and exactly, where you can see, and like, once you start, because I'm going on my third year of doing the In Your House podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, go check it out there. I'm on my third year doing that, so I've been publicly, critiquing wrestling on a podcast for the last 3 years, but I've been doing that for since I was a kid. I mean, watching it, and even before I knew I was critiquing it, I was like, okay, I like this guy. Okay, I don't like this guy. Even before
this
you
is
even
why
know
I like this guy.
Exactly.
Maybe if he would have done this, it would have been a little bit better. I get it.
It's just all about like management and mindset. You know what I mean? So like, I got an eye for talent. So when I saw you, I was like, man, I see what he's doing over there in AACW, and I've worked with Shane and them over there. When I was there, it was a good environment. They let me do what I wanted to do, and it was great. But like when I saw you, I was like, I feel like that there's more for you than just doing the one promotion, because and I don't want to get too deep into the whole wrestling business, because this is more like a general podcast, and I understand that.
You guys generally talk.
I mean, we talk about wrestling way too much too. So
I got it.
Jordan's on the podcast, so we talk about
you got to talk about wrestling if Bell's on there.
But wrestling's life, anyways.
Facts.
I compare it to everything. I tell if I have like my girlfriend, I'm pretty sure she hated wrestling when we got together, but like I've slowly turned her, and she's like to the point where she can hear somebody's theme song and be like, oh, that's such and such, and I'm like, yes.
Well, see, there's like subtle nuances in wrestling that if you don't watch it, it's like, oh, these are just guys in underwear fighting each other. But if you notice like the nuances, the storytelling, you know what I mean, the characters, the way that they build characters when they do it good, you know what I mean, it's an investment. It gets you in there. It makes you think like, hey, I have a reason to care about these guys.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
I mean, I already was a Daniel Bryan fan before that because his Ring of Honor work and all that stuff. But like that story of him being the B+ player, and they really made you care.
They put you through that feel of emotions for a good 3-4 months, and
Yep.
it was all a ride.
Yep.
And then WrestleMania was the culmination of that, because if he can get past this hurdle, maybe he can do it.
Yep.
He got past that hurdle. All right, next hurdle. Can
Yep.
he get past it? Oh, it's gonna be a little harder. He got past it, and then he did it. So
Yep.
like that's all it is, and it's all feels.
Yeah,
It
So
is.
like I love that.
Yeah, tugging on those emotions. You know what I mean?
I like it. I mean, honestly, wrestling's one of those things that's informed me as like an actor and as a writer,
Yeah.
as from a young age, because I was obsessed. I used to write wrestling. He knows this because
Yes.
I've said it before, but I used to do like role playing on AOL.
E-fetting.
Yeah, I would just go on
Yeah.
there and just be like,
E-fetting,
hey,
I did
yes.
that too.
yeah, and I would just write my entire character. I had an entire
Yep.
character, and I'd write like paragraphs and paragraphs, like of like promo, like this is what my guy
Yep.
said before the match, and then they would somebody who was in charge of it all would tell us who won the match and everything, and then the next week I'd have to take what the information I got and try to put it towards. And one of the groups I was in, by the end, my guy ended up becoming the champion at the last, and then that was they were like, this is our last one that we're doing ever. So I finished off as the champion of and I started like as this young kid. I'm like 13, dude. I'm 13 years old. To me, it informed, I was like, oh, you can actually do something with this cool shit.
Yeah.
And then when I go to write characters and when I do characters, it's informed so much about growing up watching like a Kurt Angle, or growing up and watching like Stone Cold The Rock. And
No doubt.
being obsessed with Bret and the Hitman Hart I was not a huge fan of like the Nature Boy. Any of those guys always felt really goofy and like way too buff.
Yeah.
And I liked like the like Stone Cold. The reason why I think he hit so hard was because he looked like a regular guy. Who
Yeah.
He was drinking beer.
and he's
Yeah, he
drinking
was
beer and
drinking.
just standing out.
He was beating up his boss. Who didn't want to beat their boss ass?
Everybody. Or the teacher or anything.
Yup.
And then you're at school and the teacher says something and all the kids get pissed off. The teacher turns around and we're like,
Yup.
getting in trouble in 5th grade for doing that shit. So like, I think wrestling's it's a really great way to learn how to tell a story.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yes.
Which is like what you guys are talking
If it's
about.
done
Yeah.
correctly.
Oh,
Daniel
absolutely.
Bryan.
Yup.
You said
Yes.
4 months of work that they wrote, and that there's an entire arc, and it's something like when we're writing a TV show, it's really helpful when you know wrestling, because you can kind of understand like, oh, we're doing a 10 episodes here of this. We have to do an arc for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody needs their own story, and if
Yep.
you fail with one, it's almost like you fail with the rest. It's a whole domino.
That's been my take. And like I said, wrestling for me, it's been this like 4-year journey. I just started with AACW, just being like, hey, maybe I can just go help set up the ring
For sure.
with him.
Yeah.
See a couple people, see some live wrestling, because wrestling it saved my life. Like, it helped me not want to kill myself.
Yeah,
I will
that's
tell people
great.
that
That's
like
great.
openly and honestly.
I'm happy to hear that.
But as it progressed, and like as I showed my love for it, like, oh, I can tell these stories, I can do this.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of this, and it's just progressed into these things. So like, for me, wrestling hasn't been like, hey, let me do this thing because I just want this notoriety. It's because, hey, let me do this thing because it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And you can help, and like me, I can help get other people over.
Yeah.
Like, I know I have that ability because I see some shine in a lot of other people, and I'm like, it's not about me, it's about getting those
That's
people
how I
pushed.
look at it, yeah.
So-
Yup.
Yeah.
And I really think, like, honestly, because you look at the WWE
Yeah.
and you look at their writers there, and everybody's like, oh, it's soap opera writers. That's fucking terrible. That's awful.
Not bad.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But you got to have somebody who. It's always good to have somebody like Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Like somebody who understands the art of wrestling, but can also tell you a story on movies or a sitcom or something like
Yes.
that. Because like, if wrestling is just all about wrestling, then it's stuck in a bubble.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta have those over the top characters, those crazy stories,
Yep.
those things that get you invested.
Well,
like
just-
Eddie Guerrero winning the championship the same night Chris Benoit did.
Absolutely.
Pulling at those heartstrings, you know what I mean? And the only people that really know how to tell that story like that is people who are multifaceted in the art of telling a wrestling story and telling like an actual
Just any
story,
sort of
in,
story.
like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to understand arcs, and you have to understand, like, building towards something. Like, the micro is going to help create the macro.
Yes.
Because you want to have that big thing happen that everybody's like, oh my God, that just happened?
Yes.
But the small things build up to that. And you have to remember that, like, it's like, to me, it just reminds me of, like, building, like, a domino. You always see those, like, domino sets where people, like, put, like, meticulously put 1, 2, 3, and they get through all these little mousetrap falls, blah, blah, blah. And you get to the end, and if one of those things goes wrong, it could derail a lot. Now, the good thing about wrestling is something can go wrong, and they can kind of right the ship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it could, it could affect the overall story. So I like that they understand
that's
a lot
positively
of times
and negatively. We've seen both ways. So like we've seen people get hit in the face, and then that made them majorly over.
Becky
Lynch.
Yep.
So that's in all of it. But this is what I love about wrestling. This is what I love about this guy's career so far, because like he's been able to tell a story that we're going to be able to see, and it's progressing, and like everything is interlacing in a positive way. The way that you're telling your stories through wrestling with Sam and Paragon and with myself in the future. I think you've started as I have this vision. Let's slowly build on it, and let's not deviate from it. And I like that, and I respect that, because you're very meticulous in like what you're gonna take and what you're gonna do, and you can tell that because you take a lot of time and effort into like your process and shit. And I really respect that.
It's just putting love into it. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Me personally, I was doing In Your House for 3 years, and the things that opened up for me just from doing that podcast, ridiculous.
Well, I mean, just recently you hosted the Elijah Burke podcast.
Yeah.
That Pope Elijah Burke's point of view.
Yeah.
You can catch it on Apple, Spotify, Google, anything.
Every Saturday, 9:05 a.m., NWA star, former television champion, 6th longest reigning television champion, the Pope Elijah Burke. I've been doing his podcast for 2 years. But yeah, like I said, it's opened up so many opportunities for me just jumping into the podcasting world. And like, so what I think the biggest thing as far as jumping into the wrestling podcasting world is that it opened up my eyes to what is going on in wrestling locally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was huge, because you can. I think with like any podcast, or wrestling podcast, that is, their lane is to try to talk WWE and then talk AEW and just stay right there. And like, you get more listeners listening to some local stuff, branching out. You meet people. You start to be on the ground floor of people that are going to break out.
Well, everyone loves the underground, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone loves to be on, like, the cutting edge of some shit.
For sure.
Be like, oh, yeah, I've heard about this dude from the jump, and now he's made it to this, right? Like, if you... if you can attach yourself to somebody, especially attach them to somebody that's going to grow, and you know it's going to grow because you see that star potential in it, that's going to garner people, garner fans, garner people that are going to always follow you and support you. So
no doubt. And like, to see what it grew into, because like it started, my first like big time major guest was, I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but Barry Horowitz.
Yes.
That was my first major guest.
That's crazy fool.
Yeah. But that was then I started interviewing people like Mr. Kennedy, Molly Holly, Buff Bagwell, you know, Myron Reed with MLW, Solo Sequoia with NXT.
Myron Reed's definitely going to play.
Oh yeah.
Solo Sequoia. Yes.
Solo Sequoia, had him on the podcast as well. Ace Austin. I mean, the names go on, and then it started opening up opportunities for me to start doing like commentary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With professional wrestling over at DCCW over there in Muncie.
Yep.
And it's just, the biggest thing was people seeing you and hearing you do your thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, people just start reaching out. And it gets to a point, and this is kind of what I was telling you at like some point when we first really started talking, is that you're so good at what you do, and you probably don't even know it yet. Because like, here's the biggest thing with professional wrestling, is that if you're looking for people in the business to like validate what you're doing, you might as well just quit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because because it's just a big race with each other to try to get to the top. They're not really building each other up like that. You got to have confidence in yourself that you know what you're doing, and that you're moving in the right direction, and then people start to really get, see what you're doing. You know what I mean? You got to create it yourself. Those other people in the business ain't gonna create it for you.
No.
And you shouldn't expect them to create it for you.
No, you shouldn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the culture of what what you're talking about is it's a competition because everybody's trying to get their shine.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing about Jordan that I like, and about you, and about something that we do here even is we like to put shine on other people.
Yeah,
that's what. And when you do a podcast and you invite somebody on, you want to talk about what they're doing because that's why you have them there. They're interesting. They do something cool.
For sure,
you're doing something that I had no idea. I'm just scratching the surface, understanding this stuff because this guy got me in. For sure. And going to these shows, and I remember the first time I walked into an ACW show, I was like, okay, I'm coming to watch my buddy Jordan. I showed up. They were doing a bring your own weapons match. And I was holy shit, this is badass. Okay, and I come in and I brought a sign that was like the curator inappropriately curated me or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Hashtag Mr. He Too, like joking around like Mr. Me Too.
Yeah,
and like I know he's a Pharrell fan, so I was like, Mr. Me Too's hilarious because. Okay.
I definitely see the Pharrell influence.
Yeah, definitely. And I was like, okay, so I got to do this. So I go in there and I walk in and I see so many people, and I'm like, whoa, this thing is popping off, man. There's a microcosm of an entire like ecosystem of people that I didn't even know were meeting up once a month to go see this awesome wrestling. And I'm growing up in it. It was like. When I was younger, I would go to little tiny shows. I'd go to the Armory. They used to do shows at the Armory. I'd go in there and watch them. And I loved watching the shows, but I was always like, I was a little kid, so it was bigger in my head.
Yeah.
And walking in there and feeling like, whoa, this is huge. It made me feel like a kid again. I was like, shit.
No doubt.
Did not expect this. And then what you did on stage, and then watching, these guys that I didn't previously know locally that are kicking ass, like Hysterics. I don't know if he wants his name out there, but meeting him in real life. He's a great guy. He's messaged me on Facebook. We've talked a little bit.
Sure.
He wants to do. He's going to be doing the show that we're doing together, where you're actually MCing, which I'm your character.
Can't wait,
and I cannot wait.
The big Kotkowski birthday bash. Can't wait.
Very excited.
Wait, did you say the big Kotkowski?
Kotkowski.
Okay, I thought you said the big cock. I thought you were talking about me.
See, he already fits in with that. just
talk 20 minutes in.
I know, right? We're already here.
I love
it.
But
no, like I was telling you, is that basically like you're so good at what you do. Like it's, once again, don't realize it, but you're gonna be getting like booked up like crazy once people really see what you're doing. Like, and you just gotta pace yourself. I don't know if you aspire to do something every weekend because it's. For me, I don't try to take bookings every weekend.
I mean, I have family. Family comes first.
Big time.
Like as big much time. Cool stuff as I want to do in wrestling, family always comes first. So like, I know I can do. I'll be able to do shows in the future, and they're coming. Bookings are here. Like, but I'm still gonna be really meticulous on what I take, what I go into, because like no offense to indie wrestling at all, but there are a lot of like. Very, very Carney-esque
shindies,
shows.
Bro. It's shindies.
Yes, around, and you have to be careful about where you go. I'm not trying to get David Arquetted.
I don't care about getting David Arquetted. I'm just saying that there's absolutely shindies out there, and if you want to invest in yourself as a talent, you need to be smart enough to weed out what is going to benefit you, what's not going to benefit you as a performer. Be very careful with these places that you go if you're a young, if you're a young talent, because big thing, especially for these young cats in the game, is first off, you think about, are you getting paid? Yeah, are you getting a little bit of money? And it's not all about the money, I get it. But another thing is the content.
Right.
Are you getting good content from this place? If there's a place that you're going to and they ain't got a whole bunch of cameras, or there's nothing for you to take something of to show what you are doing, because I'm a firm believer that especially in indie wrestling, if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, my thing is, look, just as long as you give me a blank canvas to work on, I can work magic. But if your canvas is shitty, like, I can't work on it. Yeah. Right? So, like, give me it. If you are putting in the production level that I'm going to put into what I'm going to bring to you, or the thought level of like what I have in the idea, then I'm mad willing to work with it. But like, if it's not equal playing field, at least, like, because I don't do this for money, because
me neither.
Ain't nobody getting paid really. I mean, you might make you some gas money every now and then.
Yeah, no doubt.
But at the same time, like, I do this just because this is my way to express my art.
Exactly. Exactly. But like at the same time, it's great for you to express your art and definitely put it out there for the public to see and show them what you got. But you know what I mean? If you're going to sit up there and invest in yourself, you also got to know your worth at the same time.
Absolutely.
Ain't nobody going to tell you what your worth is. You know what I mean? It's all a mental thing. You know what I mean? It's all a mental thing. Everybody out there is going to try to tell you this, A, B, and C, but if you strong-willed enough to be like, hey, I can see the vision, I know where I'm going, I see where I'm going, I appreciate your input, and I will actually even consider your input as well. But from my perspective, and what's been working for me, you got to go with your gut. You got to go with what you know, and you just have to know your worth, because they're not going to tell you out there, man.
No,
they're not going to tell you.
No, they're not.
Yeah, and part of that, what you're saying with, if you go to a show and you're not worried about getting a bunch of money, you're like, this isn't going to be a come up for me. This is partially because I need attention and I'm an attention seeker. That's that's what it is. That's
what we all are. I mean, come on.
We're all attention seekers.
Listen, we've been hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we need some kind of validation. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So we want the attention.
Abandonment issues was a person.
But yeah, we want the attention, and that's part of it. But at the same time, if you see that they're taking money at the door, where's that money going?
Yeah,
that's my thing. It's like, if they're taking money at the door, I want to know, if you're not going to pay me, I want to know where the money's going, at least, because I'm helping make this product.
You're contributing.
Yeah, and that goes with anything that you do with show. Like, we're doing a show, we want to know where this money's going to go when we're charging people $5. We don't want people paying $5 and then realizing their money's going to somebody's cocaine habit or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily,
that could be the case.
That could be. I already know that could be the case. Luckily for us, the show at the end of the month, all the proceeds will be going to Ship Happens, which is for Narcan. To distribute Narcan in the community to help alleviate overdoses and all these things that we are affected by around. So shout out to Ship Happens.
Yeah, they do. They educate people on how to properly use Narcan, how to see the signs of somebody overdosing, and then how to administer. So it's really great that they do that. I know that's one of the things that we were really into. I know Corey. It's big birthday bash for our buddy Corey Kukowski, but he's like, man, I want to make sure that if we're going to do a show that we have a charity involved that actually can benefit from some of the money. Because, like, my band, we don't get shit to get paid. We don't care about that at all.
No doubt,
We want it to go to something else. You know what I mean? But if we get a little bit of money, take it.
And in this area, anything that can go to help at least addicts of any sort can help to alleviate overdoses and all the things that we've seen and gone through. I don't know how this works in Muncie, but like Kokomo is really affected by like heroin use and meth addicts and things like that. And I feel like it's a Midwest thing.
It really is, dude.
Yeah.
It gets cold. There's nothing to do in the winter. So
we're
trying to find something to do.
You're either fucking or doing drugs, or you're probably doing both.
Yeah.
So, that's why I got 3 kids.
Doing drugs.
Same.
Oh man, but no, that's really awesome hearing what you guys are doing as far as that, and I feel like that there's to anything there's a light side and there's like a dark side, and I like in wrestling there's definitely your dark side. You know what I mean with idiots, it's stupid promoters, you know what I mean, that don't know what in the hell they're doing. Yeah. People that take themselves too seriously and let their egos go crazy and out of control and they lose touch with reality. Lies. They just straight up lie. They make agreements to each other and then you show up somewhere and it's not what you think it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's definitely a bright side to it in terms of some of the great things that you see in terms of let one of our own in the professional wrestling business like go through something serious, like their house burns down or something, and then boom, somebody that you wasn't even intending to starts to GoFundMe for you, boom,
or a benefit show,
yeah, or even a show that goes to like the proceeds go to like cancer awareness or something like that. It's great. There's a lot of great things about wrestling that benefits the community. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
More than just even at the base level, you just have it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
People get to come watch a show. I mean, even like if you get a couple hours off and you can go watch a show where people are putting, and you have a hot dog or some popcorn and a drink and you're sitting there. I mean, you can go to a movie and, people aren't going to movie theaters anymore because they want these gigantic things. I love the fact that people will show up to a wrestling show locally, watch some people they know. Maybe the guy that worked on your car last week's like, hey, I have a show. You show up.
You never know.
Now you're watching him get his ass beat on a fucking mat.
You never know. You never know. You know, it's wonderful because like it gives you that ability, and I really feel like Jordan, you're really digging deep and seeing that in terms of it lets you be who you already are.
Yeah,
but you could turn that shit up.
Oh yeah. I it allows me to be myself, but on like 20.
Yeah.
To be honest, like it, like I love to be able to turn it up. I love like because it's open forum, I can do that, and people will understand. Hey, this guy's maybe not this much of a dickhead. He is a dickhead, right?
Yeah.
But like at least he can be an entertaining dickhead.
Yeah, exactly.
under this
exactly
under this format. Yeah.
Love to hate him.
Just wait till people love me.
Yeah.
Wait until the face curator comes out and like people love me and they understand that I'm just trying to highlight artists and like wrestlers are artists and like whew.
But see, the way wrestling works, the bigger heel that you are,
yes,
you're already becoming a face because they like that cool heel shit, and it's like I'm not trying to be your friend.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be cool with you. I'm trying to make you hate me when I'm in that ring. You know what I mean?
This is the appeal of MJF and things like that. Like I love that guy because I know like he gets it. He fucking gets it, and he does it like
it's an art.
Yes,
it's definitely an art to get people to look at you and be like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like.
He needs a mustache. His face drives me crazy.
MJF?
The guy with the big... Isn't he got that big beard, like the chopped beard and then no mustache?
Yeah, that's it.
Does not need a mustache.
Dude, he needs a mustache. I feel like... Or shave that terrible beard. I'm like, he looks like an Amish man. Every time I look at him, I'm like...
But see,
he's
the
like
fact
wearing
that
these nice suits, but like looks like an Amish guy to me.
The fact that he has that beard, the way that it is, and it pisses you off.
Yeah,
it lets you know that he's doing it. Yeah, like it's his face is supposed to piss you off.
Yeah,
like that's why
true.
that's why it really works for him, and like that's the direction that I'm trying to go with like me and Bell here, and I'm trying to really take that heat over to like Paragon and like Sam, because like they're both like generally like pretty likable guys. Like when you go out there and you see Paragon out there just cutting the rug, you know what I mean? Like little homie know how to get down.
Yes, he does.
You know what I mean? But like he wants to be hated. Like he wants to let you know like, hey, I'm not worried about you out there in the crowd.
I know we can get that.
Oh, we can get that.
I like. Sorry to cut you
You're
off.
Good.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I saw you at the Emerge show with Paragon.
Yeah.
And the heat that you were getting, they didn't even want to let you talk.
Oh.
So they did not even want to let you talk.
Them damn Emerge fans.
It was just...
It swarms you, bro.
Yes.
They swarm you, bro.
Yes. I think that's just going to continue to come, especially as you grow and as
no doubt.
as you dip into different markets,
yeah,
things like that. All of that's going to grow, and I know that's going to grow for Sam, and I know that's going to grow for Paragon. Like we have a monster that we can like create, and it's almost like a four-headed monster.
It really is. It really is. So, because you think about what's going on in Emerge Wrestling right now, specifically with Paragon.
Yeah.
You know, he's now
to the top.
He's now on a 5-match win streak, bro. Like, so he's on a 5-match win streak, and like Emerge and their staff have not acknowledged it at all.
Right. Sounds like he needs to be wrestling Justin Kyle. I'm just saying.
Either that or Braden Lee. Like at this point, he needs to be wrestling for a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's really what we're trying to let them know is that, hey, like, here he is. I know that he wasn't involved in the Outbreak 8 tournament because of injury, but since then, he's been on a roll. Mm-hmm. He's been on a complete and total tear. So me, Hollywood Howse, the Los Angeles loudmouth, I step in and I'm here to say, hey, you are ignoring this young king.
Yeah.
5 matches in, and you keep bringing guys outside of the promotion and giving big matches to Mr. Braden Lee, big matches to Justin Kyle, which that's a big motherfucker right there. God, he's so fucking huge.
He's kind of scary.
Yeah, trust me, I was in his face to face. He's scary.
I know, I was worried for you.
but where's Paragon's opportunity? He's sitting over here breaking guys down. He single-handedly beat Pretty Boy Smooth, no help whatsoever. Didn't need it.
I didn't see it.
Listen.
I didn't see
so, and it's just things like that, like stories like that right there. That is just like, hey, we just talked about this for a second, and I can tell that if anybody just heard that clip right there, they'd be like, dang, I want to see what is this guy getting wronged or what? Like, it's just little things like that, things like that help make people care, and that's what I like to do is make people care.
Exactly, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing with Paragon. That's also what you're doing with Sam. We got to get his winning percentage a little bit up.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't get pinned though.
He did not.
He did not get pinned.
He did not get pinned. So
that's a big thing right there.
Yes.
I know in the record books it's gonna say that weird headed Albert Einstein looking freak Mikey wins, but that's not an L. That's not an L for the prize fighter. I just want to let you guys know that.
I just want to send Mikey back to a live cereal box.
I was even saying on commentary, I was like, this guy's got an Albert Einstein looking haircut, but he can't be as smart as Albert Einstein for stepping in the ring, and there was Sam.
Yeah, he just got lucky.
He pinned the right guy. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I can't fault a man who takes advantage of opportunity.
Well, I mean, Jake Carter's mom wasn't there, so he didn't have his motivation.
I know, right? Didn't have that power up. I don't know. I mean, Paragon was in the building, but I don't know if he was with her before or what. You know, they got a little thing going on, thingy thing. I don't know. But
shout out Paragon,
my man Paragon,
and Jake Carter's mom.
but Paragon, he's actually over in Seattle right now, man.
Right now?
Yeah, he's over there. He's he's doing some stuff. He's the champion over at Northwest Pro over there in Seattle. Sam is keeping himself busy. You know, he's got a championship match next week.
Yes.
Over in Illinois, and you know, we got a lot of stuff that I don't want to say too much because it's stuff that. I just want it to hit people's phones when they scroll and like, boom, oh damn,
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that, like I always want to keep that little surprise factor, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Household Productions that's just it. Once you guys see it, you're gonna be like, well, hot damn.
Yeah. I love you guys. You guys got a lot going on with it. I'm excited to see what when Jordan gets a little more in the fold. I mean, watching you guys do that promo, the first one I saw you guys do together, isn't that the first one you guys have ever done?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, man, this is electric. I think I'm like, I can't wait to see more of this because you guys playing off of each other,
good
having
chemistry.
a good thing.
I just can't wait until both of us are in the center of a ring and like we're both being able to play off of each other and everyone around us hating it.
Yep.
Just hating.
That's
it
the
just
whole
because
point.
You love it.
That's
And then when you guys finally,
I'm just kidding. I always want to break someone up, man.
The best part of the band is the break.
Yeah, over here planting seeds and stuff. No.
Hey, but here's the thing though, like for me personally, like in wrestling, I watched that era in like the late thousands and like early tens where it was just like factions would come together and they would break up and they would come together and they'd break up and they'd come together and they'd break up and when they did break up it didn't mean shit.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's got to be some time invested into things. Absolutely. So if you want that breakup, like when the Shield finally broke up,
it meant something. Because it lasted so long.
Yep.
Plus, it also meant something because, I don't know, just weird and being from Indiana. Everything they did was in Indiana.
Everything they did was right there. I was there for the Shield's debut at Survivor Series.
They debuted in Indiana.
Yep.
They broke up in Indiana.
Yep.
And they reunited in Indiana.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
Like, I love those stories, and I love how
just
they
weird
all...
little cool stories like that.
Yeah. This is
I like that idea. Yeah.
So...
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do. I mean, you guys have got a little group going. I like seeing you guys are doing this cross-promoting between... As you said, one's in Seattle, one's doing stuff in Illinois. Do you guys... Does he also... Paragon, you said, is he in Seattle?
He's out in Seattle right now.
Right now?
Yeah, he's out in Seattle right now. But he frequents promotions over in Ohio. He frequents Emerge.
He's got a big...
Oh yeah, he's got it. And I
you
mean,
should see his map.
His map is ridiculous.
Is it crazy?
Yeah.
And it's growing. So.
Here's the thing about Paragon, and not even to leave out Sam. So I'll definitely say something about him. But here's the thing specifically about Paragon, is that like me, he's real meticulous in what he does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he wants things to be shown that there's love and care in there, and like quality. Like I think quality is like super important, and I think that's why Paragon and me specifically coming together was meant to be, because we both value quality.
Right.
Yeah.
We both value wanting something to pop, because there's just a certain... I personally think there's just a certain way to do things.
Yeah.
And like I get with some of these shindies, like I've actually been shat on because I've turned down like bookings at like pretty crappy promotions. I'm not gonna say no names or anything like that, but I've been like, "Oh, you're too good to come to my promotion."
Yeah, kind of
like a little bit.
Yeah,
but more specifically, like, I just think there's a certain way to do things, and I get that people are in it to have fun, and I'm in it to have fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, fun for me involves quality.
Yeah.
Fun for me involves like realism. You know?
I had to cancel an upcoming booking because I had to look at it. I had to weigh the pros and cons. I'm like, if I go here, what's really going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, are people going to understand the story that I'm trying to tell, or am I just going to get thrown in and like, hey, go do something? I don't want to do that because no one's going to understand that. But if you give me some time and like give me somebody to work with, then we can tell a good story.
Yep.
I'll for it. I'll do it.
Yeah,
but like
that's why Emerge has been working for me.
Exactly. Well, they tell stories from beginning to end. And, And as I said with. They all interlace. If you watch like the rise of Jeremy Hadley in the cabinet and things like that, like there's been progression in his story. Mm-hmm. You know, just recently he got rid of his goons. So like,
win the tag team champions and cut off the dead weight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean that, and sometimes that's what you need to do. That's what Bobby Lashley did.
Yep.
So like you tell those stories. You tell the stories about with Braden Lee. I mean, like he's been working his ass off. He's been on AEW having absolute bangers in Emerge with like some of the most prominent indie
Sam
stars
Bill,
here.
Myron Reed. I mean, guys that are places.
That Myron Reed match. I don't think the fans that were there in Trafalgar. I don't think they fully respected what they were getting right there.
Really?
Really. Because like that was so electric, and you see two guys that are probably going to be new future. Like they're gonna be soon on your elevations and your darks prominently and like a lot because of their rate of work and the things that they can do. When I look at a guy like Sam goes all over, and like he's like the workhorse.
People don't even understand the hard work Sam puts in. They don't like how it's a lot of moving in silence. You know what I mean?
If we're the Four Horsemen, right? Like a new Four Horsemen, Sam is Arn.
Easily.
But
see, here's the thing about Sam though, is that as hard as he works, he's just as smart about the business as well.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see that, and
that's the special thing about Sam.
Yeah, yes, and that's what I was saying about him being Arn, because Arn is one of the smartest minds.
Yep,
I see that in Sam. He like the minute we met, like he was already. I got some ideas.
Yep. That's Sam, bro.
That's Sam. So
that's that's why me and Sam, I just told you guys why me and Paragon link up so well, because we both value quality and just putting out the best.
Yeah.
Here's why me and Sam link so well, is because we're always thinking, we're always bouncing ideas off of each other, and we're again, as hard as he kills it in the gym, as hard as he kills it in training, that's how hard I'm killing it with promotion. That's how hard I'm killing it with marketing.
Absolutely.
That's how hard I'm killing it with learning how to tell a story in wrestling. The four of us, I feel like, fill in the gaps that maybe the other ones don't have time or maybe just not strong at it to focus on.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all, for me and you, it's all about telling stories. I feel like Sam's the same way, but with him being an active competitor, like, he's taking bookings every weekend.
Yes.
So it's hard to focus on those stories when you're going different places every single weekend.
I think his story is in his work rate, how hard he works, and like how much of his grind is. That is his story. Like, how far is he gonna reach with everything that he's doing?
Yeah.
Like, and like, when will he get to the top? You know what I mean? So like,
it's big. It's big with that. It's just little things like that, nuances in wrestling.
Yeah.
That just for me, the big thing is like. And it feels like you don't see too much of it, but I think it's just kind of like in the background, because everybody messes with who they mess with. Mm-hmm. It's not like a huge brotherhood like everybody will tell you it was back in like the 80s and 90s.
No, it's not. Everybody's
it's a lot of small cliques.
Yeah.
And if you can find it, if you can get in where you fit in, you have that brotherhood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's smart. I mean, I think that's important anyway, just to be able to have people to bounce ideas off of, because things get stale when it's one person. You can, I mean, that's one of the things, one of the criticisms of what the WWE is, Vince had so much to say over things, and for a while it worked, but when it goes stale, sometimes people are like, man, these storylines just aren't doing anything because one guy is pulling all the strings. We need people that have different perspectives, not guys just trying to push an agenda, guys that want to see an overall great performance, a great show, put it on for the fans, and they want this to actually mean something at the end to people, where they're 10 to 20 years they're looking back going, man, that was awesome. Right. I can't believe I was a part of that from beginning to end. And I think that's what's great about you guys, is you guys are trying to weave a tapestry of like, what can we make happen with this group. Right. And I can't wait to see you guys all four together, and when that finally happens, and how important it's going to be for your guys' growth as a group to see like you guys do something all together, because I love what you guys bring to the table together anyway. Yeah. So sure. The new rest, and you brought up a little bit about the doing it in the gym. How important is that? Because that's something that we talked about with Chris Owens. Is that a lot of these wrestlers, some of these guys, they go to work every day and then they want to wrestle, and it's kind of like a side hustle they love doing for the love of the game. How important do you think it is for these guys to get their bodies to the right place? Because
it's very important. Yeah. It's very, very important, and I'll tell you why. Like, professional wrestling is, as much as it is a sport, it's also like an aesthetic thing too. Like, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, respectfully, because you say anything, you're gonna hurt people's feelings. But if you come in there looking sloppy, I mean, people are going to automatically view you in a certain way. That's why for me, like, I'm not a big gym guy. Like, I just kind of like maintain, you know what I mean, more than anything else.
Which is more than a lot of people do.
For sure. But like, for me personally, like, I just make sure that I dress to the nines, and that when I come out there, I know what I'm doing. I'm talking and I'm telling my story the right way. It's a little something called accentuating the positives and hiding the negatives. Yeah. I'm not a body guy, but neither was Bobby the Brain Heenan. Yeah. I'm not a body guy, but neither was Jimmy Hart. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you want to be in there being an in-ring performer and being taken seriously, I think that it's very important for you to have a decent body.
Yeah, and to keep you in the ring.
And to keep you good,
because if you get hurt all the time, then you lose storylines. You start to lose that momentum. It's all about momentum. And I mean, people get hurt. It's a physical sport. People are going to get hurt. That's normal.
No matter what your role is in wrestling, you want to stay healthy. Yeah. Like, always. Like, I'm not a body guy either. Like, I don't spend a lot of time in the gym, but I'll go run and shit and, do a little bit of stuff. But also, my thing is not like, I don't want to be a wrestler. I want to be a manager, and I want to be able to like hype the actual wrestlers up that like put their mad work into the gym and shit like that. So
see, and that's why that's so important, because like in wrestling, and I really experienced it early on when I started like coming into the professional wrestling business, and you see guys that think they got it, but they don't got it, and it's just delusions of grandeur. You know what I mean? They think they're a lot bigger than what they are. But if you can look yourself in the mirror and be honest with who you are and be honest with your role, you're gonna do just fine.
I just in the short time that I've been in the wrestling business, I've met a lot of guys that think that can wrestle really well. Yep. But that's all they can. That's all they can do. They don't have a character. They don't have an image to present. Yeah. They can just wrestle, which is cool. Yeah. But you have to add those layers.
That's why they need you guys.
There's some guys.
That's super important because I know a lot of guys that are great wrestlers. Like, I've watched guys, but then when you watch them, they have the personality of a wet blanket, and you're like, okay, listen, you are a performer. You are amazing in the ring. Your body's there. You have the look, but the problem is you sound like and it's just like, come on, man, we need you. Having somebody like you guys come in with the personalities that you guys have and the characters that you guys accentuate their positives, like you said. You guys build them up and give them, and then you help take away from their negatives, and actually doesn't. I mean, the Undertaker's the perfect example of somebody who, personality wise, they're like he doesn't have it.
Right.
So we're going to give him this dull personality, kind of undead thing. We're going to give him this crazy guy.
Yeah,
with him.
Paul Bear.
And all of a sudden, you've got a tandem that works so well because Paul Bear is not going to wrestle. Look at the guy. Like,
yeah,
he's
exactly.
Again, not a body guy.
Not a body guy. But personality wise, I remember being the Undertaker. It was like such a huge aesthetic thing.
Yes.
And the Undertaker's there, and then he would just say like, "I'm gonna beat you," like at the end, you know what I mean? Something quick,
he hardly even had to speak.
Back. And it was great, and it helped because you can have a guy who is fundamentally amazing in the ring, a gigantic guy that you're like, this guy's a tower, but then you got this little short fat guy that's like, I'm gonna be here helping him. Yeah. And I think that's important for a lot of these wrestlers that maybe just you have everything. We don't all get everything every time. Sometimes we're born with certain talents, and sometimes you need somebody like you or somebody like Bell to come in the ring and say, I'm going to highlight you, make you seem and I'm going to put the shine on you. Yeah. And guess what? They're going to hate me. They're going to hate you, and at the end of the day, you're going to rise.
Everybody's winning.
Everybody wins from it, and like that's what I've come to see. Like I hearken back to last October at DCCW's show when me and Sam had that in-ring promo at the beginning of the show.
When he came out as Gangrel.
Yeah, when he came out as Gangrel, and it really set the tone for the show. I mean, you're just not seeing stuff like that in the indies.
Which, also, Sam killed that, by the way, because he killed it because he came out there all brutish, even scared you. You dropped the belt and everything. You played off him very well. Yeah. So, like, I mean, you don't see people doing those things. You see people, hey, I want to come out and wrestle and just have a good match.
Yeah.
I'm a big serious wrestler. Yeah.
That is great.
Humble yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The thing is, like, Matty always says this, or my buddy Matty, he always says that, like, wrestling fans know what they're watching now. Like, when we were younger and we were kids, it was we didn't know that there was a script. We didn't know that things were happening.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We didn't see that. And now, you know what's kind of going on a little bit. There's still that excitement as an adult, but it's nice to know that, like, wrestling fans know what they're looking for. They know what they're watching now. It's okay to have fun and goof off and do these crazy over-the-top things.
Yes.
Because that's what fans want to see, because they're like, this is what I like about wrestling.
Well,
I like the craziness.
It's the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
There it is.
That you're hoping that the audience will be able to take themselves away from whatever's going on or whatever's going on in their life, and they're just focused on this and like, what is this going on? So hopefully you can tell that story and take them away from that well enough that, like, it does that and it performs. They can know that, like, man, like, certain things aren't the most real, okay, but, like, there's a lot of things that are very, very, very real. Yeah. Like, people could still get hurt and things like that.
Yeah. It's real.
It's very real. We want to tell a story, and we're able to do that.
It's so funny when people are like, wrestling, and they use that F word with wrestling. Wrestling is the F word, and it gets so annoying to me because it's like, I don't know if you know this, but Spider-Man ain't real either.
Come on, somebody.
Spider-Man ain't fucking real. You're going there and you're spending billions of dollars watching a CGI thing that they're not even doing physically in real life. Somebody is, but it's not even the guy that you think is doing it. Whereas you can go and see these guys working on characters, working on this entire over-the-top thing, and they're in the ring beating the shit out of each other.
Yep, flying.
And hitting each other, hitting that mat hard. Do some of the stuff they're doing and then come back and say that F word, because it cracks me up. Yeah. I mean, just because we can suspend disbelief all day for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and magic and some scary movie like, oh, there's a guy jumping out with a knife. Right. Oh, it's real. I'm scared. But once a guy's in a ring and he's got on a cool outfit and he's doing a bit, you're like, oh, this is Fake. I'm like, get out of here. So's that taxi thing you're watching on Pornhub. It's fake too, but you're enjoying that.
You're enjoying that. Are you enjoying it quite a bit?
but you're still sweating.
But look at you clearing your history right now.
They going right to that browsing history. We caught you red-handed or white-handed. I don't know, but see, here's the thing though. It's like, for me, there was a time where that used to make me mad when they used that word.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, and I don't even mean it in like an angry way. I mean it in a way of just like, you're just uneducated. Like, You're literally ignorant to the nuances of wrestling, and like, I'm not mad at you for it because you're not digging deep enough to really care. You know what I mean? But like, if you really understood the nuances of professional wrestling and you saw how hard these guys are working and how hard somebody is trying to get over a character. Yeah. There's still characters out there. Look at somebody like a MJF. That's a character.
Yes.
Just because he's not wearing over the top stuff, like when I see him as a Jewish trust fund baby. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like just a complete asshole. He thinks he's better than you.
Yeah.
And in his mind he knows it.
Probably works on the stock market somewhere.
Exactly.
Wall Street,
Exactly. Out on Wall Street somewhere, and that's still a character.
Yeah.
These guys are working hard. Even on the indies, they're working super, super hard. So if you just knew the nuances, you would see how hard these guys are actually working, and maybe you'd appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You look at somebody like MJF, you're like, man, I know that dude pulled from like Jordan Belfort. Like I know that dude pulled from
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah,
baby.
he pulled from
yeah, for sure.
Like
the OG, before he was Triple H, even. You know what I mean?
And then of course he pulled a lot from Ric Flair, which woo. But I mean, you can see the different nuances in that. You can even see that in like guys like Jericho, like who recreate themselves all the time.
And he's so good at it.
When he recreates himself, you're like, oh, I can see where you pulled from that. I can see why you're doing that now. Yeah. Sort of thing. So like,
I saw him come out in AEW. I was at my buddy Matt's watching it, and I saw him come out with that bat, and I was like, who does he think he is, Sting? And he's like, oh, he's got this bat thing now. And I'm like, oh, I love it, because like, I remember Sting used to come out with the bat all the time.
I still think it's funny that Bat's name is Floyd.
Yeah, he did tell me there was a name to the bat. I'm like, what the hell? Pretty boy Floyd in there.
and it's crazy, because like for me personally, like I'm pulling a lot from like Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart. But then, like...
I think that's an insult when people say, oh, you just... fuck you. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
the
like...
greats? You're talking about the greats? The guy that did the thing before I did? That's amazing?
Yeah. Like, even when I'm ring announcing, I pull from Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
You know, like, great. You pull from great stuff. And then, like, outside of wrestling, like Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Like the outspoken director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that... like
influencers are real, guys. Everybody's influenced by everything, and they pretend like you're not. I mean, there's literally people right now doing a dance on TikTok calling themselves influencers, whereas we grew up with people who influenced us and our characters and what we do.
Yep.
So it's like, of course we're influenced. People are influenced.
Do we need to do the Peacemaker dance?
Oh, that shit was... bro, that show... Have you seen any of it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God,
I haven't seen it yet.
Dude,
I hear it's going crazy right now.
I was laughing so hard watching it. I don't want to give away any spoilers, obviously. It's the first week it came out.
Great show. You should watch it.
It's there's 3 episodes. They dropped 3 episodes. I thought they only dropped 1. Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
They're giving you like what is that? 2.5 hours of content to start off. I was like, this is amazing.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was way funnier than I thought it was. John Cena plays that character amazing, like the dumb big doofus guy. It's so perfect.
I can see him playing that role to a T. That's John Cena's a goofy guy. I like him.
Or did you see Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's that character.
It's
dialed up.
That character.
Okay.
Just on 100 and like
that's okay.
It's amazing.
I'll tell you one little scene. Not going to ruin anything, but watching John Cena in tidy whities holding a Hitachi female like fuck wand and singing into it to like some old classic rock I didn't realize I needed that in my life, but I'm glad that I found it, because that shit I was floored at work. Like I was watching it at work. I had like an hour. I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to watch more of this. This is insane.
Goodness, I gotta check that out.
Tidy whities, baby.
I gotta check it out.
He's so fucking buff too, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But so you see a guy like him who came from wrestling.
Yeah.
Came majority from wrestling. I know he has a background in other things, but came from wrestling, and you see the little nuances he can put on characters, and like different characters and the different roles you can play. Like that's always been my like. Okay, that's the pathway to wrestling. That's what you need for wrestling. He's not learning these things because he's an actor now. He learned these things because he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Because he learned the value of entertainment. He learned how to...
And he humbled himself. If you watch that show, like he's like in his side while he's dancing, doing that stuff, and even the opening credits where he's dancing, doing that, I feel like a lot of actors, you know, they may not have the confidence in themselves to do that, but coming from wrestling and being in front of people like thousands and thousands of people and being able to like make fun of yourself and goof off and be goofy, like that's something that it's so important in the small scale, because you've already done it in front of... It's like doing stand-up comedy. If you can get in front of a bunch of people and make some jokes and make them laugh, you can almost do anything. It's a superpower.
Yep, it really is.
It's a superpower.
It really is.
And being able to get, like when you guys get people like a crowd of people. You're surrounded by people that hate you. The heat that you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. When you guys get that, it probably feels great, but there's also a part of it that's like, man, these people, I'm gonna start getting pelted.
Man, for real, there's definitely times where you get worried that people are going to like touch you in a way that you don't want to be touched. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you just got to trust in yourself as a performer and don't get knocked off your square, because like, at the end of the day, when like we saw with like the Seth Rollins incident, you know, Seth Rollins getting tackled by that weird fan.
Oh, that was weird as shit.
You know,
I saw that,
that type of crazy stuff happens, but you just got to trust that you can't go into situations like that worrying about stuff like that. You got to be you. You got to get in the zone. You got to be like that.
Me personally, I can't wait till something like that happens. Like, I'm trying to get stabbed or something. Not really.
But see, for me personally,
can you think of the views? I'm just saying.
Oh God.
For me personally, like, I don't want to have it happen, because like, I don't want to be one of those guys that has to break character.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like, the director is very outspoken, very loudmouth, but when it comes to being about that action, like, he's a coward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to be up in there, you know, beating somebody's ass in the front row.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because they touch me or don't get my shtick or whatever. So I don't want to be sent over there having to beat somebody's ass, because then I broke character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The director is a coward.
Yeah.
I mean, watching you slap Elijah Pope was pretty interesting.
Was
that who it was? Right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That was
when I saw
Elijah
you slapping
Burke.
him, I was like, man, this is. And then back, and then he got you, and I was like, this is good shit. I like
But
seeing
see,
that.
that's the thing. The whole reason that I would do that, the story behind that is that me and him are so close that the director is so. Here's the thing: the director is delusional.
Yeah.
He's so much optimistic that things are going to go in his way that it borders the line of delusion.
Yeah.
So in the director's mind, he's so close with Elijah Burke. He produces his podcast. He's friends with the director's family.
Yeah.
We've done lunch, yada yada yada. That my mindset is, you screwed up. You were supposed to win me that championship. Now, because you didn't fulfill your end of the bargain, I'm going to have to put hands on you.
Yeah.
Thinking in my mind, in the director's mind, that I'm not going to get a receipt.
Right. Yeah.
But I got a receipt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You should have.
It was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yes.
the entire back and forth between the two of you, and him kind of like taking it a few times, like, okay. Nope, too far. And
Yep. You went too far, bro. You went. But that's the thing. That's very much who Elijah is as a person. Like, he don't want to have to put hands on you, because like, he's real, like, he's bougie, you know what I mean? Like Pope is bougie, and like, that's one thing me and him got in common, is we're both bougie dudes. And like he don't want to have to put hands on you, but like, there's gonna be some times that he's gonna have to put hands on you. Think about somebody like Muhammad Ali, like, bougie as hell, but he'll put hands on you. You know what I mean?
He just want to make sure you get paid first, but not that he wouldn't outside of that. So
that's
give
the
my money.
that's the whole thing. And like, for me also, like, the whole delusional thing, like, I pull from Kanye West when it comes to that stuff. Like, Kanye is so aggressive with the things that he says, and that's why, like, when I speak, it's almost like hearing Kanye speak, because I was a huge, like, college dropout fan.
Oh, that was a good shit.
Like, like, that was
we're all babies from.
Oh my gosh! Like, huge college dropout fan growing up, and I just remember, like, driving, like getting up, like, my first car I had, 1995 Chevy Beretta, and I would just hop in the car when I first got my license, and I would sit up there, and you remember they had that little cassette tape that you could connect to your CD player.
Yep.
Man, I'm old as hell. Like, you cassette, like, you put it into your CD player, and then
it had a little aux cord.
Yeah, a little aux cord in there.
I had the one that you took with your Walkman, right?
Yeah.
And plugged it into your Walkman, right?
Yeah.
So, like, so then you also had to make sure your Walkman didn't, like,
move,
jump around and skip or too much, because, like,
you get one of those anti-skips that locks.
Yeah.
They started coming up with stuff.
They
stuff.
trying
you know?
it. They was
We're trying to help you.
But like, I would sit up there, I would throw in college dropout and just start driving with no destination, bro.
Right.
Like just stuff like that. So I pull a lot from Kanye. So that's where I get a lot of, like, the outspokenness from for the director.
Yeah.
Is because that's just how Kanye is. Like, he means well, but he's saying it in a way that makes him sound like an asshole. And that's very much like what the director is supposed to be. Yeah. Outspoken, trying to do what's right, but he's a fucking prick when it comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, zero couth.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I'm going to say what I think, and it's going to come in my, and there's not going to be any filter whatsoever. It's just going to come out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very much how the director's supposed to be.
I like how he's progressed, because, like, you know, parts of curator that I pull from Kanye are the ones where mentally insane Kanye.
Yep.
And I can say I'm mentally insane and say anything because of it, because I'm mentally insane and you can't do anything about it.
Yep. Yep. He's such a good influence for what we do. He really is. Like, he definitely, like, I don't think there's a middle ground for Kanye. I think Kanye is one of those guys where you absolutely love him or you freaking hate him.
Yeah.
And
but
that
I think
makes
you should
him a
respect
larger than life character. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people that hate him so much that they can't see his brilliance. And I'm like, listen, just because you don't like the guy doesn't mean you can't see what he does, because he's so individual and and everything he does, and his babies are running the charts right now. I mean, like, as much as people are hating Travis Scott because of that Asteroid incident, he owns, he's like, that last album, the Asteroid album, was ridiculous. Like, crazy. And the stuff he did with Pop Smoke, and what's his little group that he had? Do you remember the name of it? He had that little group that he did that whole little like five song EP with. I can't remember the name of it. He did that Coco, that baby. I can't remember the name of that, but he has a group. There's a group that he's with, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kanye. I've been a huge fan since College Dropout. When that dropped, Through the Wire was like, what? This guy's mouth is sewn shut. And it happened. And then Slow Jam was great. We got that song, and Twista killed it. And I mean, we're from the Midwest, man, all of us, right? Are you originally from Indiana?
I'm originally from California.
Oh, so you actually are originally from California?
Yeah.
Baller.
Yep.
He's not mid.
Yeah.
Mid.
We're mid.
But
you've been here long enough, right?
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
I've been here a long time.
Right.
Like, I actually am from, like, LA and stuff like that. So, and like, here's the thing, like, being from LA is like, with me being in different forms of entertainment, like, whether it be music or my dad, who he was security on, like, film sets.
Oh, shit.
My brother, who's an actor director. So, like, and honestly, like, my brother is right where I pulled the director character from, because you hear all that director jargon, you hear all that, you know, like, those subtle nuances that directors like, okay, well, so here's your motivation, here's this, and that stuff I want to incorporate into the character.
I can't wait till you get somewhere where there's multicam and you can be like, all right, camera one, okay, come closer, and you can. I think that's going to be so important for what you do, and I can't wait to see that. As the thing, I honestly think that between both of you guys and, you know, you guys' entire household productions, you guys it could become a big thing.
That's like what I'm trying to do, thing. Man.
Billy Corgan's gonna get his whole hands on him.
Oh shit!
That's what. Listen, like, I
don't know if I should say that out
listen,
loud.
I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak too much on that. I don't want, like, because, like, here's the thing in wrestling is that, like, there definitely is that little bit of buzz as far as, like, what's going on between myself and the National Wrestling Alliance. Like, it's like, it's there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's there and people recognize it. But, like, what people don't understand is that, like, I had people, like, waiting for me to show up on Hard Times 2 in December. Yeah. And I was like, no, it's not time.
Yeah, no.
There's very much, like, a way these things work. Yeah. Like, there's a carousel. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and start the little bit of sprout planting that seed for me in NWA and expect me to be there tomorrow.
No, that's not.
You know what I mean? Like, for me personally, this whole little NWA buzz that's been going on is, for me, it's like trying to get there is trying to get more people to notice what I'm doing, more people to see me. I know that there are certain eyes that see what I'm doing, but I feel like if I were in those shoes, it would be something like, okay, he knows something. He knows that there's a chance. Yeah. What is he going to do knowing that he has that chance?
Let me see what he produces with that knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand
exactly.
that. Yes.
So, like, that's not to say it's never going to happen. As far as, like, the NWA thing that people, like, I get asked about it because people want to know. Mm-hmm. It's just... let it happen when it happens. Yeah, you know what I mean. Let it happen.
I love the fact that we live in a modern time where, like, we can create our own thing.
Yeah.
Like you've got your pod, like your pod's 3 years strong.
Yes.
And you built this from the ground up, and
yes.
it's where it's at now. And we're only like a half a year into this thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great that we can create our own platform.
Yes.
And we can bring people, and people can come in and come and go as they please.
Yeah.
And you can actually build off that where you don't need somebody to say to co-sign every time.
Yeah, for sure.
You co-sign yourself, and then when you get those opportunities, that you're bringing something to the table. Whereas back in the day, they had all the power because they're like, oh well, we're gonna make you, we're gonna break you, we're gonna do everything. You can break yourself to the point where they're like, listen,
you're undeniable.
Instead of opportunity knocking on the door, you're fucking knocking that door down. You're like, I need to get through this door. You're pounding on the other side, and they're trying to get it going for you.
It's more so like you're creating your own door.
Yeah,
you want people to knock on your door.
Yep.
That I don't know how. So, can you tell us a little bit about any wrestling training that you've had? Have you went to like wrestling school at all, or has your journey through wrestling, has it all been through your social and everything else?
That's an interesting question because, like, for somebody like me and even you, and there's believe it or not, there's even a couple others out there like us.
Yeah.
So if you have a similar journey to myself or Belle, like this could possibly be like important information, and I hope it is. So I trained a little bit actually here in Kokomo.
Right.
At AACW, I learned how to take bumps and stuff like that, and I mean, really, that's just, like if your lane is to just be like a manager or something like that, like that's really all you need to learn how to do is really take bumps. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe throw some stuff every now and again, but for me, basically, this journey has been learn as you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've picked up a lot of great knowledge, and I've done really good at surrounding myself with people that have my best interests in mind. And that want to see me grow and want to see me better myself as a performer. Guys like Sam Knight, guys like Mike King, guys like the Pope Elijah Burke, who's, you know, my biggest mentor.
Yeah.
You know, is basically given me the audience that I have. You know, I already, like you guys said, you create your own door, and I did that within your house.
Yeah.
But the door that I created for myself became so big and so large that Elijah Burke couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, we collaborated, and then we do Pope's Point of View, and I produced the podcast, because for me, like, very much this whole producer-director thing that is, like, a gimmick, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, like...
No, you're the real deal. You are the producer, the director.
Exactly.
You produce your own podcast.
Yeah.
You produce Elijah's podcast.
Yep.
You also are a producer of music, which we'll talk about.
For sure, yeah, we'll get to that.
You have coming up here soon.
Yep.
And as well as everything that you're doing in wrestling, it's coming from your mind. You're producing the segments. You know what's kind of going to go on and things like that. Like this is all true to life. Like, your gimmick is not a gimmick. It's
for
a real
sure.
thing.
It's a real thing, and I think that's important.
You guys
dial it up. Dial it up. Yeah. So, like, for me, like, the training that I had in Kokomo was very minimal, because once I started working my shoot job, I just couldn't find time to get to Kokomo and it's an hour drive every day, and it's just tough.
We're glad you made that trek for us, though.
Hey, no, I'm glad I did. Like I said, I'm a fan of the Kokomo press, which you guys. I personally like the satire and the dark comedy that you guys put out. It's great. Yeah. So I'm personally a fan, but like, really, it's just been learn as you go, man, and like picking up the knowledge from smart people. And for me, it's been so important and key to have somebody like a Sam Knight, to have somebody like a Pope Elijah Burke, because these are men of character. These are men of morals. These are men of integrity. And so, like, you see, like, Pope, I've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and for him to give me opportunities like come out to the ring with him, or get yoked in the face by him,
host his podcast,
or host his podcast, things like that. Like, for me personally, that lets me know that he's a man that's like, I see you're working hard.
Yes.
I want to present to you an opportunity that you might not otherwise get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hint. In WA. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, if it wasn't for something like that, there'd be no way in a million years that the NWA would even have a reason to even react to anything that I do.
Yeah.
But it's there. Yeah. And the opportunity is there, and I'm not going to squander it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Now, another part of that question, have you had any pushback because of not going to wrestling training school or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's definitely people that see your come a little bit quicker for you than it would for them. Right. And don't get me wrong. I know you guys are in there putting in the work. I know you guys are in the gym. I know you guys are rolling around on the mats doing that stuff. And it is insulting for somebody like me to just come and just be an over-the-top personality and just be just turn it up in a way that people can't turn it up.
Yeah.
I mean, they could, but they don't really know how to channel into that. And then
well,
boom.
If they could, they would do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, they could.
To be honest, if you could do it. Those who can't do teach, right? So
right. So, for me to shoot up past them and show up at these places that they wish they could show up at, it could be insulting, and I get that it could be off-putting too. But really, what they don't see is what I do in the background. See, this is really super important. That if you're a young wrestler, is that and we come from a generation or we're entering a generation. I think that us 30-something-year-old cats, we kind of know how to manage social media a little bit better.
Well, we've grown up.
Exactly, we've grown up into it. But then you got these young cats that are like, hey, look, I'm eating a burger, or hey, look, I'm in the gym, or hey, look, I'm doing this, or hey, look, I got an email back from this promoter, and this there's just some things that don't need to be put on social media.
They don't know how to live outside of social media. We're so lucky because, like you said, being 30, we grew up before and during.
Yeah,
we did both, so we were in that weird limbo. And so we know how to live outside of social media and in social media. A lot of these young cats, they only know how to live in social media. Yep. So showing the burger, I'm going to the gym, I'm checking in, now I'm checking out, now I'm at home. And it's us, we know how to
move in silence.
Here's a good word. We know how to curate our social media to the point where we know that what we're doing is as much as it's part of our life, but it's also a show.
Yeah,
it's a show. We know what it is. And you need to be in your best light when you show who you are, at least as best as you can.
Yep.
So I like to look at it now as I feel like the new generation, they're Trumans of the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Where they honestly. They're aware that people are watching, but this is just the show.
Yeah.
I feel like our generations are Jim Carrey's.
Yeah.
Where we can be the actors in the show and then pull it back.
Yeah.
And be just Jim Carrey.
We're Deadpool. Oh, hi.
Yep.
Let me tell you about
fourth wall. You know what
we're
I mean?
all about breaking the fourth wall. Whereas they're going through the motions with the camera facing them, where we're looking at the camera and saying, "Hey, what's up? I didn't see you there. Let me tell you about what I'm doing."
Right.
And I think it's important for us, and I hope that we're able to teach the younger generation how to walk in and walk out of this, because you got to be able to do both. And the behind the scenes, like you said, I think that's very important to tell people. You don't choose when you pop off.
Yeah.
Let's remember that. You don't. If you're a wrestler out there, or you're somebody who's managing, and you're seeing somebody else getting more shine than you can't be mad at that, because nobody chooses when they pop off.
Yeah, you
do what you do, and if it hits the people and the people feel it, and at that point, that's not on you. Yeah. You have to be you, and you have to worry about you. And what's the hardest thing about what I hear with you guys a lot of the times is, there is a brotherhood to this.
Yeah,
but it's not. There shouldn't be a famine mentality. Just because I'm eating doesn't mean that you can't eat.
No doubt.
We should all be eating.
Yep.
But right now, it's my turn to eat.
It's valleys and peaks to this. Valleys and peaks to this. You know what I mean? And for me personally, it's you've seen it yourself. The minute I step through the curtain there at Emerge, it's just it's this guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I can transfer that over to a talent.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna happen overnight. There were still people that were cheering Paragon. But once they see what we're doing, once they get a taste of the story that we're trying to tell, and everybody buys into that, they're going to be like, okay, I thought I liked Paragon, but now his dancing annoys me. He's doing it in a cocky way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole thing, when he was putting out some clips of him dancing out there, and I was kind of there backing him up, the whole thing is that, yeah, we're partying, we're having fun, but y'all are not invited.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is a private party, and you guys aren't invited. That's the whole thing right there, is to try to make people get what we're doing. And the only way people are going to get what you're doing, you can't sit up there and just tell them all the time, because like, here, this is what I'm trying to do. Then I'm trying to do this and this. I hope you guys get it when I do it.
Yeah.
No, you have to trust that, and I get that not all the fans are privy, but if they're a wrestling fan, they got to be a little privy, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to an indie show in Trafalgar, Indiana, you got to be a little privy, right?
Where?
Like nowhere. BFE. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you go, you got to be a little privy. So like, we come out there doing our thing. And I'm sitting over here telling you, like, hey, we're not gonna continue this until you guys show Paragon the proper respect. Boo! You gotta let that build a little bit. Give it some time to understand that. My thing is I am Paragon's agent and representation. I'm right. Sam's agent and representation. You know, Paragon's very bougie. You know, he looks at himself as a king, as a pharaoh. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sam looks at himself as a king as well, but he's a little bit more like gritty in the mud. You know what I mean? But like he's a bull. He's a bull. You know what I mean?
He's the right-handed God, man. He's there to go out and complete the task, come back.
Yep.
So like,
yep. That's the whole thing right there. And if you can understand that, like, there's a whole big thing to it. But like I was saying, like doing stuff in the background, there's stuff that people see or don't see that are so important.
Oh yeah.
Like so important. Like people ask me all the time, how was you able to get somebody like a Solo Sequoia on your podcast? How was you able to get somebody like a Molly Holly? How'd you bag, you know what I mean? How'd you bag AEW's music producer, Mikey Ruckus? How did you almost bag somebody like Adam Cole, which is a very true story. Adam Cole was almost on the In Your House podcast, and WWE got in the way of it. And here's why. Because a lot of things that, especially, and this is another good thing for you young cats to learn, email's still a thing. Yeah. Email still works. Yeah. Email is still something that is a cordial way to let people know your intentions.
Absolutely.
So,
and you got to know how to present yourself in that way. There's so many. It's multifaceted, like you said. The background or the stuff that you don't see. There's so much that goes into this that you have to be able to network.
Yep.
And networking is so important. And actually caring about people is part of it too. And caring about them having shine. Yeah. And that's something we literally preach that all the time.
This is what this is built. This whole show is built on.
I love it.
It's shining on people. Like we did a few with ourselves, and we have a great time, and we talk about what we're doing, and that's part of what we do. And we have a good time. But we also really like having people on here because we want to put shine on them and say, hey man, like, you don't know about this, Mr. Whoever you are. You don't know what's going on with this guy. Check this out, dude. Yeah. They're doing some big shit. Yep. And it's like, not just you, anybody that we have on. Like, there's some people doing some crazy shit out here.
Absolutely.
It's super important, I think. One of the things you said that really resonated just a minute ago was like about show, just don't tell.
Yeah.
A lot of times with stories, people like to tell. Yes. Like you said, don't just come out there and say, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. You know, you got to show people what you're doing, and they're going to see what happens, and you show them the story, and then eventually you get to the point where people are like, okay.
I see what you're doing.
Even though they hate you, they're like, I respect it because now I like this guy more.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I hate him so much. He's making this guy look better to me that maybe before I had no interest in. So important. But now all of a sudden, this guy, I like this guy. And now this guy's got more shine. The next time he comes out, I like that guy.
Yeah.
It's cool. I love it. One of the craziest things, I think I've already said on the podcast, one of my favorite things about your podcast in general is the way you start off with music, and you do this great like hip hop, almost like rap into it, and you've got great rhythm to it, and the rhythm to it is what I like. And then before the podcast, you actually showed us your new track coming out.
Yes.
So I do want to talk about that before we get to the end of the podcast. We want to talk about your new track. Tell us a little bit about the track.
So I've been in the hip hop game for quite a number of years. Like I've been like making, like, producing beats and writing lyrics and doing different stuff since I was like 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And I had
shows here, even like at Center Stage and stuff.
Yep.
Right?
I've done shows here in Kokomo.
I've done shows there too. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But no, I've done shows in different parts of Ohio, different parts of Indiana, and like now, sometimes I'll just get that urge to want to do it again. And with the whole director thing popping off and everybody kind of noticing and seeing what I'm doing and my platform rising, like, I just feel like it's a good time to like try it again, you know what I mean? Get my message out there. So like, I'm working on like a 4 or 5 song extended play EP called The Director's Cut, The Prelude.
There you go.
So it's like a prelude to like an actual studio album that I want to do.
Yeah.
Here very soon. I'm trying to possibly. The goal is to have the prelude done by February. I'm already like 3 or 4 songs into it. But the track that I'm going to be dropping this next week, it's different than anything that I've ever done. And it's called Direction.
There you go.
And basically, I always like to preach like a positive message in my music, like give out some hope and, you know, have some fun and stuff like that. But like, also I understand with the new wave of music, like you got to be able to keep up too, because like if you get too stubborn with oh well, this is how we did it in my day, and A, B, and C was better in my day.
I'm sure there were, but evolution is a thing.
I was gonna say, like you have to, like, how are you going to achieve that very, very tough quality to gain, and that's being timeless.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to stick with the times. So Direction is basically a track where I keep my message and I keep like my flow, like my verse is crazy on it. Like I loved my verse on it.
Loved the verse.
Enjoyed it a lot,
yes.
But like the hook is more like what you would hear now. You know what I mean? Like
it was the hook was very futury.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull another name, but like I don't want to say mumble.
I felt some Kodak in there.
But
Kodak. But it's like that modern feel. Kodak Black to me is the example of the modern feel to me that I love. And I it's funny how much Kodak I like. Where you would, I'm 34. I'm 34. How do I like Kodak Black?
Same here.
But it's like, listen,
I respect Kodak.
I just loved it. I love his flow, and he's got the weirdest little. His voice is weird.
Yeah, his voice is strange.
Yeah, and I think that's important for hooks anyway, because people want to hear something different. They're like, ooh, that's cool. Yeah, and stepping outside of, like you said, doing something new, but also staying true to who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Super important in music, and evolving yourself. We talked a little bit about Kanye, and one of the greatest things about Kanye is you can listen to one album and then listen to another album, and you're like, these are completely different albums.
So yes.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, you still feel Kanye in there.
Yep.
And I think that's that's kind of what you're saying is you still feel the old you, who you were before in the music, but you've got some new flavor.
Evolution, a little new flavor, something
like
something that the current and new generation can rock with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I feel those things with all your projects. I felt that with the song. I feel that with your podcast, within your house. Also, if you're checking out Con, check out the Pros of Con podcast. It's a little short series that he did. Just a lot of like positive affirmation sort of thing that just giving you deep thought into reflection of what you're doing with your life. Very, very prolific man right here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And I was and thank you for bringing that up, because that, like, I was very, very proud of that little 5-episode series. Like,
you told me about it. I remember you talking about it.
It really meant a lot to me, because this was during my little hiatus where everything in wrestling was just too much. And it was like I was telling you, you're good. Like, once you realize that you're good, maybe you don't realize how good you are, but other people realize how good you are. Yeah. So then you put yourself in situations where you're overbooking yourself.
Yeah.
And you're maybe taking on too much.
Yeah.
And like I got burnt out by it. And in that time where I was out for 8 months and didn't do any wrestling, anything, dude, I didn't even want to watch Raw, SmackDown, nothing.
I feel that.
I just stayed away from it because I was just so burnt out from just the whole thing. I did the Pros of Con, and man, I was so proud of that. And if you guys do check that out, like I said, it's
that's
just
a good ass name too, the Pros of Con.
Yeah,
I like that.
Like
you've got an ear for it. I like it, and that's the thing about talented people. Is like you can see it, like you said with him. Like you see the talent. Yeah. You're like or not and I think it took Jordan coming around to the idea of like he got in there and he's like, I can just help, put the ring up and and then I'll help a little bit with commentary, and then it's like, oh well, now I'm the commissioner. Oh, now I'm front and center and people are hating me, and I'm like, he's literally just slowly doing more and more, and I every time it gets better and better, and I think it's the same. It's the same concept, man. If you're talented. Which you're a multi-talented guy. You do something. Honestly, like the production of your podcast, I'm like jealous. We're gonna get there, but I'm so jealous of the production of your podcast because you do you can tell that you're a musician. Just by listening the first time, not just because there is that hip hop rhythm to it.
For sure, you
have such a great rhythm to it. But also like you can feel that your voice, where the mids are, know how it works and how it hits the ears, and I feel like that's so important. not just now, but on stage. And it's also important in the future when you do get these bigger opportunities that we're hoping you. I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, we're speaking into it.
We're speaking into it. And we get these. I think that you have the perfect voice for it. I listen to a lot of people that do on camera stuff, and you have the right voice for it. You have the right attitude. You know how to project your voice. A lot of people don't know. It's something he's been working on getting way better at is projecting.
Yes,
That's one thing that I get that people always laugh at when they talk to me. Like anytime is I over project because that's who I am.
Yeah, that's
like
yeah.
I've been a singer my whole life, so I know how to, and I've done acting and stuff. So I'm always projecting. I'm speaking back there on stage. That guy back there needs to hear me. So I need to be loud enough, and it's something that Jordan's getting really good at. You do that right when you come to the room, and it commands an audience when you hear somebody who's hitting the back of the room. I'm going to hear you, so I'm going to listen. And a lot of these guys don't know how to do that.
Yeah. They don't understand.
It's a natural thing for you, and something that I think Jordan has, but he's a little bit more timid. Well, but he's getting there.
He's getting there. He's definitely getting there for sure.
Like you said, man, I jumped into all these games, even with doing the Kokomo press.
Hell yeah!
Like I jumped into it with, I'll help you out every now and then, and then it's just turned into, oh shit, we're doing this thing on every Sunday.
And
I'm right here,
and I love it so much. It's so much fun.
And I think it's funny because like there was a time where you were like, we need to get you more out there.
Yeah,
just your face out there, and then like the
way you look at talent is the same way I am. I feel like, and it's something like I said, we harp on it a lot on this podcast is finding talented people and shining on them, because I think a lot of people they see somebody shining and they want them to get away. You're putting too much. There's too much light on you. Get away. I only want it on me. The spotlight comes here.
Yep.
Whereas I'm such a collaborative person. I'm way better in a group.
Yeah.
Way better in a group. I mean, I can do things by myself, but when I get around it, and I've learned that, and I'm in my 30s, mid-30s now, I learned that in the last, 5-6 years, when I got with Brian and when I get with you and I get with the guys that I get with, I'm like, I'm such a better performer in every aspect of it when I have somebody to bounce ideas off of.
Yep.
And I can play to you because I want to make my friends laugh. I want to make you laugh.
That's the biggest thing is if I can make you guys pop, I'm like, oh, okay.
I was going to say, I'm a big believer in if it's making the group laugh, the people that are watching will laugh too.
Yes.
It's infectious, right?
Yeah, and I watched they were talking that story about the People's Elbow with The Rock. Yeah. How that came was they were trying to make Undertaker laugh.
Yeah.
They were all like when they were
that was
working.
a running bit for like a decade.
Yeah.
Let's pop Undertaker, see if we can. So.
And it's like, and I love it, and it's like now we've got the People's Elbow because of that, and it's such a goofy thing that like it became, and it's something the fans love. Yes. It was like it became adored, and I think it's the same with anything. If you're trying to make your friends laugh, trying to have a good time with your friends, if you guys get backstage and you're like, man, I got chills when you did that thing. Yeah. That's the environment you need with this. You don't want to get back there and the guy's like, man, you didn't give me any time to. You don't
do
want
A,
that.
B, and C.
You want everybody to walk back at the end of it all and be like,
feel good.
Oh my god, we just had the greatest. And you want to hug each other.
For sure. Because you know that your performance was good, and it was even better because you were bouncing off of each other and feeling that chemistry, feeling that rhythm.
It's a buzz.
It really is.
It is. It's
really
you're getting high out there.
You're just that's how all this is.
Yeah.
Like, even with that the little promo that we did, we took a one shot promo,
and that was it, fellas.
That was it. And we did it, and then we've both been texting each other back. We felt really, really good about that. I watched it back a few times.
I felt good about it. I was good. I felt good. I was like, man, this is good. I'm like watching you two just play off each other. I was like, this is electric. Yeah. The only thing I wish is that I was the one producing it, because I want the angles. I want to get in there with you guys.
For sure.
As a guy who likes to shoot video and edit and stuff, to me, I'm like, I want to get in there and get some different angles and kind of move in and out. And the thing is, sometimes you just got to get the guy with the phone. Like, hey, can you please just
exactly? And like, here's the thing: like, when you're in that like backstage environment during an active wrestling show, it is absolute pure chaos.
Oh yeah,
utter insanity. Like, if you're not good, see, this is a little shoot thing about me. I came up in like call centers and stuff like that, so you got to be used to chaos and things changing on a dime, and because of that, I'm able to do well at moving in chaos and understanding like, hey, maybe you wanted things to go like this, but because of some circumstances, you got to do something different to still try to get to it. It's improv.
It's improv. People have to understand that, and you have to take what you get from the other person, and you can't deny it. Because once you start denying things, you lose momentum.
Yep.
You have to keep going. It's funny you said the call center. I was a telemarketer for a minute. When I was 16, I was a telemarketer.
Man, been there,
I was calling,
done that.
trying to sell water softeners to people. Hey, you want a water softener? So like, the personality thing is something that when you meet people like that, and that's what I see it in you, man. You're so great what you do, and you're gonna blow like even bigger than you are, and you're already huge. Like I love it. I love what you do. I love that you're helping take care of Jordan. I need it. I think it's so important
because he's got it.
I'm in one ear, you're in the other. That's what I like to. And it's super important because
it's really true. I should be in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, no, but he's definitely got it, and like. I always told myself real shit. I always told myself, because I've been in situations where like you've been in like straight up if we're shooting, like I didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Been there, done that. Like there's times where I was like, man, if I just took myself out today, nobody would care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now look at me now. So I always told myself if I was ever in any position of prominence, that I would give back. That would help. That I would try to be that person that would try to give people the opportunities that maybe wasn't presented to me.
Even if it's not opportunities, like it's making sure people like get their flowers now, right? And know their worth. And
tell people they're appreciated. Tell
how much
people
they are
appreciated,
or how much they're impacting another, which is what I get from you. So like
that's one of the most positive things about social media. I mean, you get the negatives too, but I think if you're a good person and you're good to people on social media, like I posted a thing the other day because I had the roughest week at work ever. So I posted this little star, and it's like the eyes are real, and it's like, hey, just so you guys know, I'm doing good, but I'm hanging on by a thread. I'm hanging in there, but just a little bit. And I had people message me like, hey man, love you. I hope you're doing well. And those things matter. And I think
really does.
As men, it's taken us a long time to get to the, based on what we know, it's taken a long time for men to just start bigging each other up. Because it's easy if you're a man to big up a woman. If you're a straight man and you want to big up a woman, it's easy to go on there and give her accolades because you think you're going to get something. But from your fellow man and understanding that this is a brotherhood out here. We're working together. We're all we're all hanging on by a thread half the time. We all are. And one little thing, like one sickness, one car payment, one tire, a lot of people it can derail a lot of people. So we've got to be here helping each other. And I mean, GoFundMe, like you said, for wrestling people that get hurt. I love that you guys go out beyond and you guys help people and we do our things. And I think that's super important. Just even being there mentally for each other and just saying, hey man, I see what you're doing. You're doing great. Telling people they're doing a good job. Tell people that you appreciate that they're doing a good job.
This is how all this stuff started. Is just because like I saw his worth and I was like, man, I'm gonna start sharing his stuff. Doing good stuff.
All appreciated.
I love it. Yeah.
So I mean.
I just think that it's just so important because, like, I get that there's another side to it where it's like if you're doing everything right, sometimes it'll feel like you haven't done it at all.
Yeah,
right. You know, the old Futurama saying. I got that from Futurama. Always stuck with me. Always stuck with me. But dang, sometimes it's good to hear that you're moving in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like something because sometimes people just don't know.
Yeah,
straight up. Sometimes people are like, am I doing the right thing? And sometimes
in
they
the trenches.
Can't. Right there in the trenches. You don't really know. Like sometimes your gut, like if you really listen to your gut, because that's what I've learned to do is just kind of follow my gut and go with that. Because like there's been so many times where I have looked for the affirmation of others, and like because you're so hungry for that affirmation, they'll mislead you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you have to put yourself in a position where it's like, listen, I gotta trust in myself. I gotta know what I'm doing is the best for me. And if you got a family, my family, or your career, if it's your career, then if I'm doing what's best for my career. But here's the thing, though, like especially in the entertainment business, wrestling included, people aren't gonna tell you that you're moving in the right direction. They're just gonna try to stick to you. They're just gonna try to stick to you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? True. And especially people that have dying careers or that have no idea or have no idea how to gain trajectory in their career, how to get more eyes, how to get more people looking at what you're doing.
Marketing's passed them by.
Exactly.
They don't see what new marketing is. They don't see how to use social media. So they're like, oh, this guy can. I'm going to use him.
Exactly.
Because I used to be something, so I need him. Maybe. But instead of coming, like it's almost better if they come to you and say, hey man, you're so good at this. Can you help me?
Exactly.
You'll be like, hell yeah, I like you. Let's
just
do
come
it.
correct.
Just be honest with your intentions. And tell people like, hey man, I love what you do. I don't know. That's what I like about Jordan. Jordan's one of the greatest guys. He's like, if I don't know something, I ask, and then he learns, and then next thing you know, I'm like, important. He's doing it better than most people I know. Like the editing thing, he's doing way better than a lot of people that I know that's been doing it for years. Yeah. So as long as you know what you are, know what you're doing, and you're humble about it, you know, and you just have your characters are a little less humble.
Yeah.
But that's but as far as you know that you have the ability to affect change and affect people, it's like what you keep saying, we're going to change the culture, and I'm like, I see the changing of the culture between each other, and I think you guys, it's funny because you guys are doing it in the heel way, but I think it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I love everything you guys are doing. It's killing it. I
here's the thing. What really motivates me, because here's the thing. People ask me all the time, because I'm 34 years old. Next month I'll be 35. You know, and I'm a family man. You know, and like, so they ask me, what are your goals? What are your intentions? Do you want to go to WWE? Do you want to go to AEW? And I'll tell you straight up, right to your face, no. My goal is not, listen, WWE, especially listen, I have a pretty cush shoot job. You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of uncertainty going on with WWE. You can get signed with WWE and you can get released 2 weeks later. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't want to give out government pay. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. And like, here's the thing though. I can't commit to going to flying places 2 or 3 times a week, or even once a week. I can't commit to that. Now, would I do something like an AEW Dark? Yeah. Would I do something like NWA? That's the goal. Yeah. Straight up, that's the goal. Would I do something like Impact, OVW? Yes and yes. Yeah. I would do stuff like that. But do I aspire to stop being an independent artist? I don't aspire to do that.
No. I can see why you wouldn't, because you don't want things that taking away from you. Like,
don't compromise what you have. It's like that old parable with the dog with the bone, looking into the sees the dog and the thing has a bone as well, goes to get it, drops it in the water because it sees the reflection. It's the same thing. You don't want to lose what you have in order to gain something that's uncertain. Right? Yeah. You want to make sure that, but like, you've built such an audience, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. As long as you don't sign away who you are. Don't sign away who you are.
That's the goal. But see, for me personally, and going back to the NWA thing, that feels like the perfect fit for somebody like me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, because NWA, not only are they re-ramping up a whole lot of things, like their junior heavyweight championship tournament, that's going to be fantastic. You know what I mean? You're seeing so much, a mix of great veteran talent, people like Mickey James, people like Chris Adonis, people like the Pope Elijah Burke. You know what I mean? People like Trevor Murdoch, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So many, and then you get a mix of great talents like Darius Lockhart, like Big Strong Mims, you know what I mean? So many, Kobe Carino, you know, it's really, to me, in my eyes, I look at the NWA as right now the new land of opportunity for veteran talent and new talent. There's people there that are getting chances that wouldn't get chances anywhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you got to look at like the big stage of like WWE and now even AEW. One, WWE is releasing a lot of people because they had too many people and they can't play with all their pieces, right? Yeah. I mean, there's new playgrounds, so let them play in these new playgrounds. Oh, yeah. I kind of understand that mentality.
I get that mindset.
It's a farm system almost at this point. It's starting to feel like.
It really is. Yeah. Like, I think people give WWE a lot of shit, but like, I think what they're doing right now is actually better for the world of wrestling, because they're sending out a lot of people. They're saying, hey, we're going to keep these core big guys and see what you guys play with. Mm-hmm. That's going to create competition. They're doing.
Isn't that what MG? I know I'm not huge. Like, I don't know a whole lot, but that MJF. Isn't he kind of working off the idea that his contract's going to expire and he might go to WWE? So he's using that almost as a tool,
to tell a story.
And I love it. Actually, it's so beautiful of AEW to be like, hey, let's take this thing that's happening and let's make it part of what we're doing.
AEW does it anyways, because they're like, hey, we got these WWE guys that are coming to AEW now, and let's play off of that.
It's very smart to use that, because you could ignore it and you'd be like, oh, we don't want to talk about them, but instead they're using it.
The things that NWA is bringing to the table, it's bringing all those guys in. It's actually meshing in different characters and characters within the world, and it's not doing it in a contrived way. That's doing it in a smart storytelling way. If you've watched like the things that the Pope Elijah Burke did during his title reign, all the way up to Trevor, or his matchup with Trevor Murdoch and things like that, and Hard Times and things. Like, if you watch the stories that they were telling, and that they're really good stories. You watch the story of Mickey James' husband. I can't think his name.
Oh, yes. Mickey James, he was the champion.
Yeah.
I don't know why his name is escaping me right now, but he was champion for a really long time.
Yeah. Nick Aldis. Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Yeah, we're old. We're all 30-year-olds.
I know, right? It's early. But yeah, Nick Aldis is, I
haven't had my morning smoke this morning, so I'm just saying.
The Jack Boys. Isn't that what Travis Scott's The Jack Boys? Is that the name of the group that he's with? Because I forgot that earlier.
Oh, yeah, I remember that earlier. Yeah. Now we bring it right back. But yeah.
See, it popped in my head right now.
Right there. We're bringing it back around. But yeah, like, even with guys like Nick Aldis, like, they're good at, like, telling the stories and stuff like that. Yeah. And, like, what I'm trying to develop the director into is somebody that would fit the mold of an NWA.
Yes.
Like, because I just really feel like that with my character, it's a new school type character, because you don't see somebody pulling from somebody like Spike Lee and turn that into a wrestling character.
We don't see that enough anymore in any sort of wrestling. Yeah. People are like, hey, I just want to be myself.
Okay, I'm a big serious wrestler.
Myself is an emo guy. Mm-hmm. I like rock. I big guy, so I'm just gonna be this dark, brooding, like monstrous guy. Well, you get too many guys that are like that.
Oh god, right? So many.
What's the difference between you and the next guy?
Yeah. Like, bring me something. Bring me an actual piece of you, and let's highlight that piece, right? Yeah. Let's see how we go from there, and then we build upon that. Like, I like the way that NWA and other promotions are doing that, and that's how the Indies is. It's just like
the Indies is insane right now. So much. For example, Mickey James, perfect example. Executive producer of NWA Empower from last year. They're all women's pay-per-view.
Impact
Knockout champion. Now we know entrant into the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Insanity.
Yes.
Insanity. The fact
and
that
recognized by WWE
as the Impact Women's Champion. Yeah. That is insanity. That just goes to show you that the landscape, even if it's just a crack in WWE's universe, this landscape is changing for the better, because this is what wrestling used to be anyway. Everybody used to work together to help. If you want to call it clout, I don't think that's the right word for it, but I think it's attention. Well, you know what I mean? It all transferred with each other. NWA, WCW, all working together. AWA working with them. Yeah. Things like that. It's
a universe now. It's not WWE and everything else, or WWF.
Well, it's not just WWE's universe now. It's the wrestling universe. It's a real thing.
It's all one thing.
Yeah. I just a shout out to the Facebook page Wrestling with the Cock, right?
So good. I started following it. So good.
The satire page, because the story of Cody Rhodes being an entrant in the Royal Rumble popped off, and it's funny to think about those things, but actually the door of opportunity is actually there. These things could actually happen. So
it'd be funny if you guys predicted it.
Oh, I'd be like, what? That'd be so crazy.
Fact tire.
If that comes to fruition, and me and Brian wrote that story.
So good.
I love it. You guys are using all your different abilities for evil now.
Yes. It's great, man. It's great. So, the landscape of wrestling is changing, man. And, one thing I want to touch on, because I know we'll probably run out of time here, is that,
close,
it's so good to see, the draw that black wrestling is bringing in now.
Yeah.
That's, and it's not to say, it's not taking anything away from any other race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, or anything like that, because we saw a big boom for the women at some point. Yeah, you know what I mean? Whether it be, I honestly think that NWA did it better than WWE with their all women's pay per view. I honestly do, and I'm not just saying that because my goal is to aspire to be an NWA. I'm saying that because that's truly how I felt.
Well, I think NWA also had the blueprint. The Evolution pay per view that the WWE put on was amazing at its time.
Yeah.
At the time, and they did great things. You think about the match between Becky and Charlotte. The match was amazing, and the things that Sasha and Bayley did, but then NWA was able to see that and then we can nail this.
Yeah.
Plus some.
Yes.
And, which is all great strives. And like you were saying, for black wrestlers in the community now, and in the wrestling universe, we saw rises in guys like Kofi, who we always thought was going to be a mid carder, right?
Yep, whole time.
We all but the whole world was able to almost get behind him in that story.
No doubt.
You see rises in guys like Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Productions.
Oh yes, yeah.
These are big, prominent groups that are on the come up and on the cusp. You see guys like Bobby Lashley and Big E.
Hell, look
doing
at
great
Jonathan
things.
Grisham.
Yes,
Jonathan Grisham traveling around with the old school Ring of Honor Championship and defending it. And hell, he's got Terminus coming up over in Georgia. That's going to be an amazing show. Black wrestling is real. Like I said, it's really, because here's the thing, and no disrespect to anybody at all, I really don't intend it this way, but for the longest time, professional wrestling was looked at as like a good old boys club.
Well, I mean, back in the my girlfriend Kim, she noted this. She's like, you know what? There is way more diversity in wrestling than it used to be, because back in the day, all I really saw was some big white guys.
Yeah.
So she's like, I love that part, and it's nice that even non-wrestling fans will notice those things now.
Yeah, for sure. Black wrestling definitely draws. Look at Bianca Belair. Look at Jade Cargill, TBS champion.
Absolutely.
Such great names.
I feel like wrestling was ahead of it a lot of other places, though. Because, between the Nation of Domination and Viscera.
Yeah.
And, I'm thinking about Farouk. All those guys. Yeah. And then but it was just all their characters for a while were a little bit The Godfather was weird,
I think they're kind of stereotypical in that.
But Booker T was the shit, man. Everybody loved Booker T. Everybody loved The Rock. The Rock, is multiracial
for sure.
But still, we still love The Rock. The Rock's still the shit. But I also, to me, the Dudley Boys. You've got the I know. One of the things I did notice was that there's a lot more prominent black wrestlers, and I love it. I think it's great.
Wrestlers too.
Yeah, some rappers.
Yeah.
But John Cena's not the greatest rapper. John Cena's not the greatest rapper. We have to let Dave know that, because John Cena. Dave did make that joke on his podcast, thinking that John Cena's a good rapper.
No.
Yeah. but having champions that are that look like society is important.
Yes. I think representation matters a lot,
it does.
And for me personally, I didn't like everybody would always pitch you hey, why don't you do a Nation Domination stable? Well, why?
Why?
You know what I mean?
Not even call it what it is.
Right.
You guys have a black stable already.
Exactly. But here's the thing though. I don't feel like an angry black guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not do I take, you know what I mean? Do I take notice of things and do I speak on it? Yeah, but I do it in a way that Alacon Howse would do it, turned up as the director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I present these guys, I'm very much supposed to be here's the two things that people perceived black wrestlers as back in the day: angry black guy.
Yes.
And song and dance guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm coming out there and I'm not angry and I'm not doing a jig, but I'm coming out, I'm making my point, I'm getting my point across, and I'm an asshole about it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna force my will on you,
And sexual chocolate always.
Oh yeah. Good old sexual chocolate.
Miss Mark Henry.
Giving birth to a hand, forget about it. but no, I just feel like that the direction that wrestling is going in is a positive direction.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the things that we're seeing is we're not trying to take away from the good old boy club. You can still do your, you know what I mean? If you want to have your, hillbilly gimmicks and stuff like that, and
they're still gonna get over.
They're still gonna. There's places where that stuff gets over.
For that.
Absolutely.
But there's also a demographic for people like us that don't fit the normal demographic, that are able to do these things in a different way, and do them in an exciting way. That
in conjunction. Not supplanting in conjunction, and I think that's important. It's good, but it's all, even if it does supplant some shit, fuck it.
For sure, but
you've had your time.
Here's the thing though. There might be a kid who's watching you in the wrestling ring, or even watching WWE or AEW on TV, and maybe he's not hood.
Right.
Maybe he speaks proper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a way that people would say, "Oh, well, he talks white."
Yeah.
And
are you describing me growing up?
It's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you see somebody like a Big E holding the championship on television,
speaking eloquently
and entertaining. And Biggie might dance a little bit, but it's not like that's not his whole thing. Is being, you know what I mean? Being
his whole thing isn't out there to just shuck and jive for people.
Exactly.
Because, honestly, it's kind of degrading.
Right. So that's the whole thing. Is like if a kid could see somebody like that and be inspired by it. That's great, because then you just created somebody that's like, all right, now once I get to be of age, I'm gonna see if my parents will take me to training, and I'm gonna try to work hard to be a wrestler. And I know that just me speaking proper and just being myself, it can get over. You know what I mean?
The world is like that. Like I just watched Encanto on Disney Plus or whatever.
Okay.
All right, and it was really just nice to see cartoons that kind of look like me, right?
Yeah.
It was super fucking weird. I'm just I don't know why I'm happy to see a cartoon that looks like me, but it's nice to see a cartoon that kind of looks like me.
Yeah.
So you get it, and everybody's gonna draw from certain things, and there's certain things that you can pull from, and there's great things, subtle things that people are gonna pull from that you won't even realize that they're pulling from. That's going to inspire them for greater things.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I love that that representation matters. I think it does matter. I think that kids being able to see, themselves reflected on the screen is important. And then we have to make sure that everybody has that it's reflection of society.
Yeah.
And you take what's good regardless of how they look. And I think that's important. I mean, as long as you're still in good shape, because I still want to see wrestlers in good shape.
For sure. But that type of stuff, just the little moment of seeing somebody on the TV screen that looks like you, it could inspire greatness.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I looked at when I see, I'm heavily influenced by Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Heavily influenced by Nipsey Hussle, and I won't go deep into that. We can save that for another time if I ever come back, which I would love to.
Oh sure.
But I pulled from him because I see a cat from Crenshaw and Slauson. I grew up around that area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looks like me.
Yeah.
Long hair like me. Beard like me. Talks like me. And look how far he came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look how far he got in life with just using his brain.
And how many lives he changed.
Oh my God, he changed my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely changed my life. To see somebody that I might have crossed him on the block and didn't even know it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And didn't even know that I was crossing somebody that was going to change my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think that that's so important to see something like that, because it can truly inspire greatness.
Absolutely. That's a good point to leave it at. I mean, honestly, I like that.
That's the whole goal. That's what we're all trying to do, is inspire greatness. Even if we aren't individual, even if we aren't great, even though we are, because look at us,
greatness.
Yeah. We're trying to inspire greatness.
Yeah.
Yo, it's been an absolutely amazing conversation.
Thank you.
What can we plug right now?
Absolutely.
Direction.
Yeah.
Direction. The single coming out.
New single coming out. Yep. Direction. Got that coming out. Also, listen to In Your House. 14 different countries. Listen to in a lot of different states all across the U.S. Started it 3 years ago. In a couple weeks, it'll be to the day. So go ahead and check that out. Listen to my opinions on mainstream professional wrestling, on indie professional wrestling, and hey, just follow my journey through the professional wrestling business if you see so fit. I appreciate, like I said, all major podcasting platforms. In the pipeline for me, the 28th of this month, I'll be getting back onto the commentary table for the first time in about a year. I'm excited about it. I'll be doing commentary with Hybrid Championship Wrestling. A lot of it's
down in Terre Haute, right?
Yeah, over there in Terre Haute. Okay. Going to be a lot of great names there. Sam's going to be there. Sam Knight, right hand of God, the prize fighter, he will be there. You've seen him on AEW. Warhorse will be there in attendance. Nice. So that's going to rule ass. He's going to be wrestling up against Dale Patrick's, the Deathmatch Jackass. That is going to be an absolute banger of a match. Don't Die Miles will be there, so they will be there. And if you have not seen Don't Die Miles, I'm telling you, they are one of the most incredible young talents I've ever had the privilege of.
Shooters don't die.
Hey, shooters don't die, man. I'm telling you, that young cat has got it. They are incredibly talented, so they will be there. That's going to be awesome. So I'm going to be hitting the commentary table with Andy Sturm, and They are a great commentator with Emerge Wrestling. So I'm going to be hitting the table with Andy Sturm. We're going to be getting together, doing this for the first time together. I'm super excited about that. Also in the pipeline next month, I'm going to be taking my first out-of-state booking.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'll be taking my first out-of-state booking as I go to Versus Pro in Las Vegas, Nevada for a really great Level Up Expo. It is going to be absolutely amazing. It is a gaming tournament. Cosplayers will be there. Wrestling will be involved. It is a 3-day tournament right out there in Las Vegas. The director will be in the house. And Household Productions will be in almost full effect. We won't have Bell, unfortunately, but we will be almost in full effect with myself, the representation and management of the one and only, the World Star Paragon, and the right hand of God, the prize fighter himself, Sam Knight. We will be there putting it down for 3 days. It's going to be great. Once again, direction coming out. I'm looking to drop it in the next week.
Cool.
And the director's cut, the prelude, next month in February. If you haven't, I already have a couple of songs out there that will be transferred over to this EP, and they're on Apple Music and Spotify. One of them being 23, and then the other one being Streets of LA. So they're already out for public consumption. This next track, Direction, is going to be out for public consumption very, very soon. And yeah, we're just going to keep pushing and grinding. My next goal is to really do some work with Wrestle With This over in Greenfield. They got their next show coming up. I believe the plan is for me and Sam to be there. I think that we're trying to pull Bell in too, to come in and do some really cool stuff. I don't want to talk about what the plans that we have there for WWT right now. I just want to let it happen. Yeah. But I'm telling you, when you guys see what we have planned, it's going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to make you want to definitely tune in and see what Household Productions has coming up next. So like I said, I have some commentary going on. Whenever Emerge announces their next date, I will absolutely be there in full effect because I love Emerge. I consider them my home promotion, where I could always go there and hone my craft.
Yes.
And that's great. That's very important. Then Vegas coming up, absolutely fired up about doing the Household Productions thing and director thing in Vegas. So so if you guys feel so inclined, follow me on Instagram at The Hollywood Howse. You could follow me on Twitter at Hollywood Howse. Follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page, Hollywood Howse. Also, go and check out the Facebook page, In Your House, 20,000 followers strong. We're still growing. Yes. Also, we're on Twitter at In Your House, and we are on Instagram at In Your House. Guys, thank you so much for having me on this amazing show and giving me the platform to talk about all the dumb shit I do, all the crazy shit I do. So yeah, Kokomo Press Podcast. I will definitely come back if you guys would have me.
Like I said, open invite. You can come on anytime you want.
Yeah,
I think that's a good place for us to end.
So and the house is with the W, by the way.
Yes,
so
HOWSE.
We're always winning.
Yeah,
yes,
we're all for winning. Always. So HOWSE on all those platforms. Hollywood Howse HOWSE. And once again, thank you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So give it a 2 sweet and a.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Kokomo Press Podcast. I'm Jordan Granger. Jordan and I are very happy that you guys tuned in. All of our links are available. We've got YouTube, that's right here. We've got our Twitters. I'm going to put those right over here. And then we've even got like Patreon. We've got Facebook. We've got Instagram. We've got all the places. So please check us out. And merch. We have merch. Check out our merch. Oh my God. We have merch. So if you love the Kokomo Press, you enjoy the Kokomo Press podcast, or you just want to, help out and do something with us, check out the Kokomo Press on merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on all the places that we have available. Thank you for listening to the show. We love you.